Happy Wednesday, y'all. I got Jason with me today. We're actually going to go. We got a couple deals we're going to look at and just underwrite real quick, and then we'll see what happens from there. So just so you guys know, too, I want you guys to see this. We always share this because people always ask us, what PA are you guys using? And I'll show you right here. So you can go right here, landinvestor.co/PA. You could grab our purchase agreement. Our purchase agreement is the one that we use for all our acquisitions. Acquisitions double closes everything. So you go right here, you just click. All you got to do, you just put your name, info right here, and email. We got to be able to email it to you. That's it. And also, guys, if you guys don't know about Land Insight's free Chrome extension right here, this thing is awesome. I use this all the time to run our quick, what's our PPA for a property and all that jazz. It just saves us a ton of time, honestly, just because you don't have to worry about doing the math and all that stuff. It's completely free, same thing, just name, info, whatever here, and this will get sent to you. You could download it right onto onto your Chrome, and then on Redfin and on Zillow, you'll just see the quick boom little blurb right there. So it's awesome. So I am going to bring in, got Jason on the line right now. Jason, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Fantastic. So Jason was giving me a little bit of rundown. He's in LIA. You've been in LIA since what, February?
Yeah, end of February.
End of February. And you've been trickling out mail and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but which is still good. I mean, at least you're getting it out there. And you got some deals that are just almost there, which is not fully over the board, right?
Correct. Yep.
All right, cool. Cool. Just want to give everybody a little bit quick insight about what you do, what you're doing here in Land.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a close friend that's in LIA as well. He's been in since I think middle of last year, so pretty much a year. He was talking to me about this whole operation, just kind of the idea of it. And it kind of suited me, but then, I was hesitant just because I want to do my own due diligence, wanted to see if something that fits me. And then end of February, once the year turned around, I really got to dive deeper. And then I met with some of the people in LIA, and it was a really good group. So that's what really propelled me to start. From there, I did the training, the 0 to Hero 90 day. That was probably the most influential to me with you and Sumner. I learned a lot there, started to get dialed in on my whole process. My biggest, I think, area of opportunity would be just navigating sales calls, because I've never really been a person that in any job had to, finalize any sales. And so navigating that, I can talk to anyone. The rapport building is pretty easy for me, but kind of starting to negotiate and then close and get someone to come down, maybe even two smaller tiers of a price agreement is challenging for me. I've only had 5 good leads. I have 2 right now. That one, I think, like I said, has some meat on the bone. There's an opportunity there. The other one, I think, is a little bit more of a, I don't want to say Hail Mary, but, fourth and 15, something like that, if I were to put a football analogy to it. But yeah, we have 2 leads. They're both fairly easy to talk to, and expecting a call from me today and tomorrow. So when I reached out to you, I think this was a good idea just to connect and then even do it live if we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So what the goal here is, I want to look these up real quick and just see, as far as everything goes, are they, what kind of deals are we looking at? What are price points and all that stuff? Are you comfortable with me sharing it? I don't have to. I could just look it up and then kind of just share.
Yeah, that's fine. You can share it.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what I might do is I might just get the general area, not the actual parcel and stuff like that. I'm going to grab the general area. I don't want to share the actual lead here. So
okay.
I'm going to grab the general area. We'll get some price points and all that stuff and kind of get better familiar with it. And then when we call them, we have some idea. So just looking at this parcel real quick, looks like I'm looking at the first one, Escambia County.
Yep, they're both in Escambia County.
Okay.
Is it the one that is surrounded by kind of like farmland and timber.
Yeah, it's the 12-acre parcel.
Yep, correct.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking at that one first. It does look like there's quite a bit of, looks like a defunct mobile home park or something like that around here. I mean, defunct, like it's all gone.
Yeah.
So that does tend to bring the value down when you look at
Yep.
that real quick. So that's something you understand, yeah. Okay. Let's see. We got a house right here. Let me grab an address. That's not it. I'm just trying to grab a local address, and I'll pull that up. In Florida. Man, everybody lives in Florida that has a house over here.
Yeah, the border is just south. There's a couple bodies of water that are like really popular, and it drives up the price in Florida. So while you're looking that up, I'll just say something quickly. The lots right just south in Florida are like much higher price. Obviously, Alabama is a little bit different than Florida, and that also kind of makes it hard to comp because if you look at anything Florida, it's a little bit different. So you got to kind of stick to Alabama when we're comping, or when I was comping. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so the border is basically right here.
Yeah.
Is where it is, right? That's why, because I'm looking at all these addresses and they're all coming up Florida, Florida, Florida. I'm like, oh, okay. But I guess it's that close.
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, so we got the road. All right, I got address right here. So I'm gonna open up Redfin, and then I'll start showing everybody kind of where we're at. All right, so this property, you're thinking the exit is around what?
So I spoke to a realtor yesterday that has sold a couple parcels as well as has one listed that's fairly similar. He was thinking 70K is right around the sale price. He doesn't know, but he was pretty honest. He doesn't know about timeline on how quick it would sell, just because this isn't necessarily the fastest moving area. But yeah, I connected with him yesterday and talked in depth about this parcel as well as the other one for the other lead. And I'm thinking if it sits for 70, then 1 to 2 potential smaller price reductions in a certain amount of time, just kind of, as a ballpark idea of if it does go south of the price point. So that is also why I want to try to work this lead and work it down. Obviously, what you pointed out is around there. There's some things that we can utilize to our advantage in that conversation. It's just I'm not as seasoned in this to really hold that conversation as a talking point for a long time. This is only my 5th lead so far. Yeah. Okay.
So basically, if you don't get it for around 50, it's pretty much a dead deal kind of thing?
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Okay. 128. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say, just judging by this real quick, this isn't rural. It's more rural of an area. I do see this guy right here. This sold for 12K an acre, but I'm not going to use that.
It has a pond, a pretty nice pond in it. That's why I flagged it as kind of like, a body of water. Yeah.
Okay. This guy sold for 8,500 an acre. So this is the nice thing about landed sites PPA. You could just look at this real quick and you can see all this stuff. So we got 100K, but this is on the other side of the highway. So yeah, when you're comping, I like to look at like the general area. So like this side of the highway and all that stuff are going to be my best comps. So you got this one right here. It's sold. And this is cleared land versus yours is more, has trees and everything like that. So what are we saying? The how many acres is this? This is
12 acres.
And let's just theoretically say this sold for 8,900. Gotcha. Okay, so you're thinking 70K for this, right? Exit?
Yeah, I want to be very conservative. I'm not saying if I get a purchase agreement signed tomorrow, I'm saying let's post it right away for 70. I want to make sure there's enough healthy spread for me.
Sure.
And also, we were able to look at it momentarily, Sumner and I, on Monday, and he was agreeing on kind of that ballpark.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of say I'll kind of gear towards that as well, just
Okay.
because I'm looking at some of these comps, just because of the location where it is and everything like that. It does seem like it's a little bit lower quality,
Mhm.
as far as like the type of properties around it. So like, let's search this again. So this is the general vicinity. So this is the general vicinity right around here. Now, I don't see anything, really selling around here.
Mhm.
Let's see houses real quick. Just want to see what kind of houses are selling as well. Sold last 6 months. So you got a 285 that just sold. And that's on 10 acres. So 285 on 10 acres. Then you get a 196 up top on 2 acres. So you're talking 20% of that. So it's like 60K right here worth of that. So it's about $6K an acre right here, just land value based on like if you look at a house, take 20% of the value.
Mhm.
It's a rough estimate, not guaranteed. Just
Yeah.
throwing it out there though.
Yeah.
Let's look at the land. All right, anything for sale?
I saw a few things, but I don't think in that general area. It was like you were saying, like more towards I think it's Burton, which is just northwest. It's all like kind of closer to the city.
Okay, gotcha. You got this guy right here is 9 acres. This is active. It's 9 acres, not too far. Let's see if we have. This was just listed active February 1st. So that is like 4 months.
Mhm.
So if you're going to be listing pretty close to this, but you're like a couple acres bigger, so that's good. Half an acre. What's this? 951. This is probably pretty big, right? 323K an acre. Yeah, 317 acres. All right. Yeah, a lot of stuff in Spring Hill. You see a lot more parcels for sale over here.
Mhm.
70K for a 40 acre.
Yeah, and that's the realtor I believe I spoke to, possibly.
I would not use them.
No, that wasn't it because he had drone photos and everything. We talked about drone photos in depth. There was 5 different realtors I reached out to.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was one of the better. A lot of these listings are very poor.
Yeah, this is really bad.
Yeah, a lot
14,
of them are
14
not
acres of
appealing.
wooded land. Like,
I
cool.
know. And that kind of made it like if I can get a listing up with a decent price and have someone that actually lists it um, in a much better fashion, it might be more appealing. But a lot of the listings are pretty poor. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. I'll go for the call now. Let me just see this. I want to just keep this up for me.
Can I ask you a question before that? And then
Yeah,
if
go
you
for
want
it.
any more background, let me know because I'll give you as much background from the first call I had with him. But would you, if we were saying like 70K listing price, and if it had to get reduced after 3 months, whatever the case may be, would you say like a 55 is way too tight for a small base hit?
How are you funding this?
If it was a double close, I'm pretty sure we could do a double close. The realtor is comfortable with it, as well as this guy doesn't really care as long as he can get his money. He's like I said to you earlier, if it was 60K, he's like, I'll sign tomorrow and then just give me my money whenever.
Okay, so let's say you sell for 70K. How much is the realtor charging?
5%.
So times 0.95, you left over 66,500.
Yeah.
And then you got probably your transactional funding. So like if I were to fund this deal for you, because I do transactional funding,
Yeah.
it'd be $600 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we were to do some closing costs like 2K in closing, and then you're saying 55, 50?
Yeah. it's like 50 or 55. Those are my like kind of like tiers. I want to try to drop it down to.
All right, so let's say 55. It's 8,900 profit.
Yeah, which is still a base hit.
I mean, that's fantastic if you think about it. Like, you're not risking capital, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
to make $8,900, it's pretty good. If you get it down to 50, obviously, if you get it down to 50,
Yeah.
then you want to go 13.9.
Yeah.
Now, as far as everything goes, when you talk to this guy, when you kind of went over pricing, what did you say?
So my initial offer was 57, like 300, whatever the case may be. And then I was trying to just get to know him, build a rapport, also like slowly figure out, why he's like in this area or this time frame in his life when he wants to sell, but he's not in a rush. He's like I said earlier, he said, if I don't find the right price, I could just give it to my kids. They can figure out what they want to do with it. But I'm getting older. I just had a stroke 5 years ago. I live in Florida. I don't need to go up there. I can't hunt there anymore. So towards the end of the call, I was like almost going to get to a price agreement. He's like, how about this? And he just like cut right to the chase. Cause I think he kind of likes to potentially drive the conversation a little bit. He has that type of personality. He was like, I want 65K, but because of, a couple things, whatever, I forget what he mentioned. I had notes, but I forget. And he said, if it's 60K, I'll sign tomorrow and you can have it. So he kind of like cut to the chase pretty quickly. It was like 60K is fine,
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just looking to see like what kind of like newer builds, modulars, and things like that are here too.
Okay.
There's also like good stuff to like bring up.
Okay.
So if you talk to him and just be like, hey, look, here's another thing I'm looking at. Like, let's say I want to build a house there. So obviously not a lot being built over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you looking to do an EMD at all?
That's the other thing. I haven't really decided that, but if I do, it's got to be pretty small, right?
Yeah. How long has he owned this property?
I think 15 years. I have to check, but he's owned it for a good chunk of time.
15. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Let me just see. So that's another thing too. Have you pitched double closing at all?
Not really.
Okay. I gotcha.
The big things I talk about are time frame, so that if we need to go down the route of a double close.
Sure.
But I haven't really gotten to the point where I can discuss it in depth. I have discussed purchase agreements with people, so that kind of like, I guess that dabbles into it because there's obviously assignment portion clause. So I have been able to talk about purchase agreements with 2 leads before.
Okay, cool. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it going, and then what I'm going to do is after he comes on, I'm going to just start the call, and then I'll switch it back over so everybody can hear. So just give me a minute.
He does know that. So I told him, because who I was telling you about, my buddy in LIA, I talk to him almost daily about all the stuff I'm doing just because he's kind of like a pseudo mentor to me. I told him I have a partner. I never mentioned who his name was. So he wouldn't be surprised if someone else reaches out to him besides me.
Okay. And what was your name again? What's your business name?
Premier Land Group.
Premier Land Group. Okay, cool. All right. Let me give him a ring. You gave me the info, right? His info?
Yeah, it should be on that document. Or let me give it to you because I didn't put it on that document because I shared that in the lead to a couple other people. Give me 1 second. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, send it to me on Discord.
Yeah, I'll do that. I got it saved.
Okay, so okay, got it. All right, I'm going to mute out for a minute if you want to chat with everybody while I'm doing this. 712. Premier, right? Premier Land Group?
Premier Land Group, correct. Yep.
Okay. So I'm just talking to Jason here. We're looking over at this parcel you got over here in Alabama, and I just wanted to touch base with you. I know you talked to Jason about possibly selling and everything like that, and we're
Yeah.
kind of going back and forth, coming to an agreement. So I just wanted to find out from you kind of where you're at, where your head's at with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I was asking 65 for it when it ended up for sale, but I wasn't advertising it much, you know.
Gotcha.
And I told him I'd take 60 for it, but it's 12 and a half acres. I just had it surveyed. I got a clear survey, a couple months old. And, it's just a wooded piece of land, and it ain't got no water, gas, sewage, electric, nothing like that on it. Nothing, but it's all got access to it. It's right there on the highway.
Nice.
And
okay.
But, yeah, he said he's gonna call me back and let me know.
So yeah, I just wanted to. I work with him, so I just wanted to talk to you about it. So, you had it listed, you said, right? Or did you list it with an agent,
No,
or you just put it online?
I never listed it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. You just kind of.
I just locally, people that I know and stuff like that. I figured that some buddies of mine would want to get it just to have a piece of land to hunt on and stuff like that. But
sure.
I haven't been advertising like that or listening or nothing.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay. All right. So we're looking at it. It does look like a nice piece of property. We like that. Obviously we buy raw land. That's what we focus on. I did notice there's a couple things, not necessarily about the property that are wrong, but like kind of the surrounding area. What's around there? Is that like an old trailer park that's like defunct?
No, it used to be an old junkyard, but they closed all that up. The boy that owned it died. And he was the main reason why I bought that piece of property to start with, because he was rich. And it was the only 12 acres in between his property.
Oh, so you're waiting for him to knock on your door?
Yeah, he owned the land on both sides and across the street from my property. So,
sure. Okay, so he never made that offer, huh?
No. He ended up passing away and everything.
Oh, man.
And I've had to deal with his old lady, but she might be interested in selling that clear cut next to mine.
Okay.
I own about 2.5 acres of that, but she owns, I think there's 12 acres there, and she might be interested in selling that too.
Gotcha, just north of you?
The price is right. But I think Brenda.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Now, as far as everything goes, we're looking at this, we kind of do a bunch of things with land. Sometimes we put houses on them, mobile homes, all that kind of stuff. We prep them out, or we'll build them out for hunters. We have all different kinds of things. Just looking at this quickly, it doesn't make sense for us to put like a brand new, stick-built house on here. Just judging by the area, it's probably best to fit like a nicer mobile home, something like that, and get it ready for somebody to buy it and live there and just living on 12 acres and just relaxing, right?
Yeah. There's probably. At one time, I was going to clear cut it and everything, and
sure.
I had a company come in, and they said that I had probably about $15,000 to $20,000 worth of timber on it.
Okay.
I haven't decided on clear cutting it, so it's still wooded. Like I said, I've been hunting it and everything,
sure.
So that's basically all I've done with it for 15, 16 years.
Gotcha. Yeah, clear cutting will diminish the value. So yeah, you get a little capital, but then it kind of just, the land is worth really nothing at that point because you took away the value. Unless you're farming it, there's a weird stage between clear cutting and then farming, and you got to get it to either point.
Farm, I think, with like 200 an acre.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're gonna make a killer amount of money off of it to start
No.
with. So
No, definitely not.
I mean, the taxes is low on it, so that's the good thing about it. I don't pay but like $35 a year.
Yeah,
Taxes.
that is the good thing. Definitely. That's what I like about raw land. Taxes are cheap and everything like that.
Yeah.
All right. So for this parcel, I know, we were going back and forth on price. Now, just looking at it, what we could do with it and all that stuff, I think we're going to be closer to like 48 for this piece of land.
I've got to really stick to 60, buddy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know it sounds like a little bit just to keep pushing it and everything, but like I said, I had it up 65, and that was the lowest that I was going to go.
Sure.
And then y'all offered me some money, and I said, well, hell, I'll go down to 60 if they'll take it. But if you're not going to take it to 60, I just I ain't got to sell it.
Yeah.
Everything I own's paid for in life. I'm retired. But
sure.
I'd be plenty happy to sell it at 60 and get rid of it. But like I said, I just hunt it and enjoy it and stuff like that. But
have you been out to it lately or not really?
Out to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just been out there having a survey done to it.
Gotcha.
Cost me about $1,000 to have a survey.
Any hunting done on it or no? Not so much.
No, it's all got brand new stakes put up and everything now. They've only got it cleared up. I was having a little dispute with that woman next door and everything. She was telling me part of that clear cut wasn't mine. Telling her it was. And so I had to prove it to her, but it cost me $1,000 to do it.
Sure. Okay. Now just curious, what's so important about that 60? Just that's the number in your head? That's what you want?
Yeah, the 60 is what I kind of really want to stick to. I mean, I know it's trivial for that little bit, but it's just basically I've had it for so many years. I've paid taxes on it. I've had surveys done to it. I'm close to. I paid more for it than I should have.
Okay.
I paid 50 for it.
Oh, you paid 50 for it? Okay.
Yeah, so got another 10 tied up in it. So if I can break even, that's what I was looking at. That's the reason why I had it for 65 because I could make a few thousand.
Okay, I gotcha. So that 60 is basically your break-even point. That's why you need that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because based on tax value on this thing is like 36. So that's why we're coming in at like 48. It's more than tax value, but if that's kind of your break even where you need to be. When you say you got like 10K tied up, is that just like old costs, like things that you put into it over time?
Yeah, like I said, paying taxes and doing a survey and things that, I'm going back and forth doing to it. And
okay.
Just over the years, 1,000 here, 1,000 there. And,
sure.
It's just working on it, keeping it cleared, some of the brush cleared to it. And,
sure.
Okay. But, if I can't make a little out of it, then I don't need to sell it. Like I said, I can leave it to my youngins and let them deal with it when I'm gone.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll tell you, we buy a lot of properties from people who pass it down to their kids, and what they end up doing is they end up just selling it for dirt cheap. They'll go and sell it for $20K just to get the money. They don't care.
Yeah, well, I got a bunch of youngins that hunt.
Oh, okay, so they might actually use it.
Yeah, they actually only use the piss out of it about trying to do them.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, we get those people all the time. They're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave it to my kids," and I'm like, "Well, not for nothing, but your kids most of the time they end up just selling it to us later on. They just sell it, for cheaper or whatever. They just call us up and say, "Hey, I want to sell it to you," and that's that. So I hate to see that happen. I'd rather give you the money now while you could actually use it with your kids instead of them just taking a quick paycheck later on.
Yeah, well, they're pretty smart. All my youngins is up in the 30s and 40s, so they ain't no idiots by a long shot. They know the land's going up in price constantly.
Yeah.
You know, especially up there around hunting land. I'm backed up to an 8-point or better hunting club, so it's you know, it's really, I've got the acorns and the oak trees for a mile or two around me. My property's got 12 acres of it. Ain't no acorns around that place. So I mean, I kill deer every single year off of it.
I believe it.
And the kids know that they can kill a doe a day off of it. The state of Alabama, they got it lined up. So yeah, they get plenty of deer meat and you know, plenty of enjoyment out of it and everything. That's the only reason why I've kept it as long as I've kept it.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, do they live locally to it?
2 of them do.
2 of them do. That's good.
Yeah, I got another one lives out in Texas and everything, but when he comes in during hunting season, we run up there and hunt it for a few days.
Nice. Okay. That's awesome. I mean, look, we are interested in buying it. I know if you are interested in selling it, we could definitely make something work. I know we can't do 60. I think we could probably, like, our max we could really come up to is like 52. You know, I know that doesn't get you back everything, but
yeah, well, y'all offered more than that for it to start with.
I know. So when we offer on properties, a lot of times, like, we can't look at every individual property. So we get in a ballpark, but then we have to look at like the area conditions and all that stuff. And, you know, just the junkyard and all that stuff right around it, that just kind of eats away at the value. That's really the only reason why, because if we were to go clear and put a mobile home there, you know, not a lot of people want to live next to that kind of stuff. So it just changes the value a little bit. So,
yeah,
you know, I think we offered like 57 originally. So we just got to come down a little bit just to accommodate for that, clean up some stuff and do all that, you know.
Yeah, no, I'd rather keep it, man. It's like I said, I can go in and clear cut it and get $15,000-$20,000 of cash money out of just timber off of it and then just let it grow back.
Yeah.
But
so they had somebody.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I wouldn't dare take less than that 57. That'd be the least I would take.
The 57.
You know, so
okay.
So if y'all going down to 48, then now you wasting my time, your time too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even anything under that 57 is definitely a no.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's do this. I don't think, you know, I think we could try to make something work. Let's just touch base again. Let me go talk to Jason again. And let me see what we could do. If we could do something maybe if you give us a little bit of time, we could go try to see if we could find a partner of ours that might want to buy it instead, and we'll just get them to purchase it if that's agreeable to you. Maybe we could do that.
Like I told him, he can take as much time as he wants to take. You know, find somebody else that wants it.
Okay.
It's fine and dandy with me, you know. But like I said, I ain't got to sell it.
All right, cool. Okay, I'll have Jason follow up with you, and I'll talk to him right now, and we'll see where we're at.
Okay,
right.
buddy. Y'all take it easy.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, he's tough, man. So
I learned a lot on that call, though.
Good.
Like, I learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just guiding the conversation, man. He's it's all about just finding out, asking the questions, being just genuine about things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be like a whole game song and dance.
Yeah.
Be a conversationalist, you know. I asked a couple questions that are important. Is like, why do you need that 60? Why is that such a sticking point? Things like that. And now you got it, right? So he says he paid 50 for it. I look at the records and it shows 38.
Yeah.
So I think he's coming up, and I think he's obviously just saying, I wasn't going to call him out on that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you call somebody out on that stuff, they completely shut down and they're like, screw you, you know, because they get annoyed because you just caught them in a lie. So you just kind of like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. Now, another thing I did too is I know where we wanted to be. It was like 55, right, as our max, right? So you want to do something called low anchoring, right? So even though 55 is our max, like our MAO, max allowable offer, I want to come in below that, right? So that's why I said 48, and that allows me to work up to 52, 55, whatever the case may be. he did just say he'll go up to 57. Now, if you wanted to just lock the contract in at 57, just do it. And then you're going to double close it anyways. He's already got a survey done, so there's not much risk of capital, you know? And he's giving you the time to run with it. So, yeah. I mean, at that point, what can it hurt to get it listed?
Yeah.
You know?
Especially
maybe at the worst cost, you're gonna eat like 300. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you're gonna eat what, like $300 in drone costs. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So at 57, I'd say just send the contract.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, look, I think we'll do this, but just give me a little bit of time. Make sure you have at least like 90 days, 120 days on there. And if you're going to do an EMD, that's totally up to you. He's not really saying anything, but give him $100, you know, if anything. Yeah. The only reason why I would say give him $100 is just to make it like it's a legal contract. Mm-hmm. That's about it. Okay. So worst case scenario, you lost $400. Best case scenario, you're at what? Like 57 if you sold it for 70. So 70 grand times 0.95 minus 50, call it 59,000. Still like a $7 grand profit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at the end of the day, $7 grand is $7 grand.
Yeah.
So, and if you were buying this, I would say no, don't buy it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a double close, I think it's totally viable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, small spread, but hey, sometimes the small wins. I mean, that could cover your marketing for the year if you're still sending a small amount of mail.
Yeah.
Think about it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One piece of feedback, which is it's positive, but it's just interesting because I had a parcel in Wisconsin, and it was very similar to this. The guy was like, no rush, I'm chilling, whatever. And he explained how he spent a bunch of money on it. He got it perk tested, a bunch of stuff. And I think if I navigated the conversation very similar to you, mm-hmm. he liked me. At the end of the day, he was like, dude, I don't think it's going to work out. And I was like, all right, if we need to talk later, we can talk later. So I might be able to revisit, watch this again. And it was a very similar type of seller, very similar. I just probably need to figure out a price and talk to him in that fashion. But yeah,
you got to just talk to him. Like I was asking him a lot about his family, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like ask about the sons and stuff like that. Now, what I was doing is, I was asking about the sons to kind of guide the conversation. But the reason why you ask that kind of stuff is you want to talk themselves out of, like, I'm going to give it to my kids or this and that.
Yeah.
Right? That's the kind of the point there, right? Because a lot of people have this like glamorous idea that they're going to give this property to their kids. They're going to love it just as much as they did, blah, blah, blah. Half the time the kids don't care about it. They sell it, they move on. They just want the money in their pocket. And it happens more times than not that it's just how it is, right? So by kind of talking to them about that, like, oh, where do your kids live? How far are they from the property? Do they hunt it now? Things like that. He'll start to realize, like, especially if they don't hunt it, if they live far, that they're probably not going to use it when he gives it to them, right? And if he's really going to give it to them, sign it over now.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are you waiting for? You're not going to, it's not this huge capital gain or anything like that. Just quit claim the deed, the property to them and let them own it instead of you owning it. Mm-hmm. Let them deal with the taxes and all that jazz. You know? So everybody has this like beautiful thing. It's going to work out. It doesn't work out. So that's why I always kind of try to guide the conversation like that and ask these questions, like where they live, what are they going to do? Are they actually hunting it now? All that stuff. It helps. And eventually you get sometimes the seller's like, you know what, you're right. Like, I don't think they're going to use it, you know, and they might not explicitly say it, but what I'm doing is planting seeds. And now they're going to talk about it, think about it with their kids and this and that. You know, he might go home and ask his kids like, hey, do you think you guys are ever going to use this?
Yeah, I think you planted the seed because towards the end of the conversation, it was like he threw out 57. And that's where my eyebrows went up. I'm like, you're clearly striking some sort of chord, because he was like, no way I'll go lower than 60. And then in the matter of like 3 minutes, he threw out 57. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So he already came down, and he's like, I'm not going to go lower than 57. Well, you also just said you're not going lower than 60.
Yeah.
So there's a couple little things. Like, I think you could probably do it. Just call him up and just be like, here's the thing. I'm ready to go forward. I'm going to send you a contract for 57.
Yeah.
Let's just button this thing up. Let me go market it to my partners, talk to them, see what we got going on. If I can get a buyer in there, great. If not, we shake hands and move on as friends, whatever. That's it.
Yeah. Two
say,
questions. Go ahead.
Sorry. You could even say, like, what I usually tell people too, like, hey, if this doesn't work out, I paid for the drone photos already. They're yours. And people are like, oh, okay, cool. I'll take that. That's great. So, like, it's just like, instead of like a big earnest deposit, they think they're getting like these big drone photos and all that stuff. So,
yeah.
What was the question?
Two questions was, the first was, and they both kind of tie together. The first is, for the callback, would it be best to be like, hey, I understand you talked to my coworker or partner, whatever.
Partner Dennis.
Yeah, partner Dennis. Do I open up with that to see if he's like, you know what, or do I? Because I don't want to jump right to the purchase agreement. I'll be ready for it because I'll have all that work done and just kind of a conversation ready, just to see if he wants to talk. He's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. I've been thinking about it. 55 is the lowest I can come to. Do you think it's worthwhile to open that can of worms again to try to bring him down a little bit? Or is it like, you know, what do you think?
I would say this. You kind of want to cast me in a bad light in a way. Not like I'm shit, but like,
yeah,
it's good to kind of just throw that out there. Be like, hey, you know, I heard you talk to Dennis and this and that. He kind of updated me real quick. I heard he kind of beat you up a little bit on the price, and he threw out pretty shitty lowball offer, right? And he's gonna be like, yeah, you know, he came down, he hit me at 48, and I'm not selling for 48. I got all these whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know, just like remind him of our conversation.
Okay.
Like as if you heard it secondhand, right? Mm-hmm. So this way, he's like, he knows you know what's going on, but you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And then it's good to say like, well, at the end of the day, like, hey, what number do you think makes sense then? You know, I know you and Dennis were talking, and he hit you with the lowball number, and just see what he says. Okay. And if he's like, oh, you know, I think 57 or whatever, then just go for it.
Yeah.
You could say something along the lines, be like, hey, look, why don't we do this? If I do 55, I cover the closing costs and all that stuff. Basically, I'm at 57 right there.
Yeah.
And then that's basically how you get to your 55 number, right?
Okay.
So kind of play it like that. Even if he says 57, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Okay.
I think you should just try it. It's a low risk, possible reward.
Yeah. And then my second question was, what do you think on time frame? I wrote down like 24 or 48 hours just to let him or do you not let him think too long on something like that?
You know, a lot of sellers take a long time to think, especially older guys. Like they want time on these contracts. It's a little tough, like, to navigate that. Sometimes I'll send a contract and I'll stay on the phone while I'm sending the contract, and I'll review it, and I'll go through line by line everything, so that there's no hesitations, right? Because a lot of times they are not signing because there's something in the contract that's the reason why they're not signing.
Yeah.
So as long as he's got an email and he's in front of his computer, I would say, hey, look, I'm going to send you the contract. Let's just go over it real quick.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, I could just answer them right now. And then, boom, send the contract. Like, have it queued up, send the contract. Make sure he gets it. And then once he's got it, that's when you start going through everything. And just be like, okay, cool. Here's the purchase price. You know, we agreed on 55. I'm covering closing costs, so that brings us up to 57. You could even say, like, I'll give you 57, but, you know, closing costs come out of it. So it still looks like he's getting the number if you want it.
Okay. Yeah.
So another thing. So the number on the contract will say 57, and then later on it'll say, you know, closing costs come out at whatever. Closing costs deducted from buyers, proceeds, whatever you want to say. So just go on and, you know, go through the lines of the contract and, you know, just kind of explain everything and just be like, any questions? No? Cool. All right. All you got to do is just hit sign. Good. The ball's in my court then. We'll start title right away. And then that's that. I find that works really well if you have people that are online and savvy. If it's somebody that's older and it's a little tough for them to get to a computer, it's kind of crappy. You know, I just lost a contract the other day where the seller's like, I don't have email, I don't have this, and whatever. I'm like, well, you have a cell phone? They're like, no, we only have a landline. I'm like, okay. So I had to mail him a contract. And normally I would send a notary and have the notary sign the contract, but I think this guy was like kind of like meh, like wishy-washy, so I wasn't going to waste $200-300 on a notary.
Yeah.
So I ended up sending a contract via mail, and 2 weeks later goes by, nothing happened. We called him up again. We're like, hey man, just wanted to make sure you got the contract, this and that. He's like, no, I signed with somebody else. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh well.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really care because I wasn't a huge fan of the deal, but still, like,
Okay.
kind of shitty.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of gauge that too. Like, how serious are you with this? If you are, then sending a notary, doing things like that really help. So.
And you utilize Sign Now typically for emails, just so they can electronically.
I do email and text too. Sign Now is good because you could text it to them, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay.
I've done that for a few guys that are like, I don't have email. I'm like, great, you have a cell phone? They're like, yeah. Okay, cool. I'll text you the contract. Goes right to your phone. They don't really have an excuse then, you know?
Yeah.
So people are always looking for an excuse to not do something. That's just how it is. So you're giving them an excuse sometimes if you don't have the solutions right there. So, but yeah, I think we're kind of tight on time, but let's do the other one tomorrow night in our sales call.
Okay. Awesome.
If you want to, I don't know if they're just open for a call, and we can just call them tomorrow night first thing.
They're expecting a call tomorrow. I timed it with the I didn't time it so that you can do it. Trust me, it wasn't that, but I timed it with that because I'm going to submit it today and then just kind of have it in the queue or whatever.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do it first thing. So we'll do it as soon as we go on at like 7-ish,
Cool.
like 7. And then we'll call them they're Alabama, right? You said?
They're the same county, just west of the highway. So the other side of the city.
Better looking lead. What do you think?
No, it's not as good as this one. It's a subdivide potential, but the subdivide might not even be worth it after talking to a realtor. There's no real regulations. I talked to the county. They called me back. They're like, yeah, you can do whatever you want pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll look at it tomorrow when you have more time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Okay, I see. It's kind of like it's split by the road.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like left and right would work, but
yeah.
I just don't. It's so small.
Yeah. It is. So what's a 2 acre worth? I mean, they bought it for $8,000.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
And you can see just south of it how like there's little. I think it's mobile homes. I'm not looking at it, but like there's little plots where people already built. So it kind of gives you a vision if you subdivide it. But
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's up by Bruton. Where's it by?
Yeah, it's just southwest of Bruton, I believe.
Okay. So it's up in this range here.
Yeah, but that guy's talking like higher numbers. Like I offered 44, I think, or something. He's like nothing but 65. So when I called him, he said the same thing, and then he went down a little bit. But I was like, I'm gonna let me do some more digging, and then I'll come back to you because he's asking for too much. But he said he's gonna talk to his kids about it too. Similarly.
Yeah. So I do say one thing. Sometimes if it's a lead that I don't really, part of this whole thing, when you're talking to people, sometimes you just have to not give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to not care about the lead, not care about the deal, and just let it go, you know? Yep. And when you do that and you talk to people like you don't care sometimes, it just kind of like works. So like if you're not too particular about the deal, and it's like take it or leave it, give him a take it or leave it. I would say like, he's like, hey, I want 60. Well, dude, honestly, I can't do that. I'm at 30, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like I'm at 30K, best I could do. You want to do it, we can get you paid, but if not, there's nothing I can do here. And sometimes they'll be like, yeah, screw you, whatever. And then a couple days later, they'll call you back and be like, did you do 32? You know what I mean? Like, they tend to kind of circle back. So that does happen. Let's see what we got. 70K, 6 acres. So what do you think this one's going to exit for? Like 60K?
Yeah, I was thinking around there. That's why I wanted to stay pretty low. And then I wanted to figure out the subdivide opportunity. But like it's hard with the smaller acreages because they're around there. There's a much. It's all like right by the city.
Yeah, even if you look, there's nothing really 2 acres.
Yeah. So
Really,
something
that's
might not,
cool.
might not be worth it. The realtor kind of said that as well. He's like, it might just be better to sell it as one.
Yeah, because you're really going to chop it up and you're going to sell one for 30, one for 30. It's like you're at the same number.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, this sold for $12K for 3 acres. Like it's nothing,
Yeah, exactly.
11K for 3 acres. So
Doesn't add up. Yeah.
no, it doesn't math.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah. So I think maybe just hit them with the low ball.
Yeah.
Honestly, those kinds of leads are the best to practice your negotiations and all that stuff. Because then you just hit them with like low balls, hit them with whatever,
Yeah.
just see what they want to do and just see. They tell you to screw off, then you know, like, okay, I pushed too far. But if they're like, okay, just see what happens. Like, if you want to be at 35, hit them with 25, and then come up.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be at a price. Another thing too, if you tell somebody, like, I'll give you 50, and that you actually wanted to be at like 55, whatever, and they're like, okay, like automatically, you did not go low enough. Like you probably could have went down to like 40. So if they're not almost like pissed off a little bit at your first offering, you're not at the right price. I've done that before. I just bought a deal where I was at 72 I was at 78. And then I called him up. I said, hey man, look, we looked at this, and this, and we got to be at 60K. And he's like, okay. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Lower.
Because in their mind, they're like, this is what I would like, exactly. Yeah. I heard that.
Yeah. And I found out later on that he actually was trying to sell it like 6 or 7 years prior for like 27. But I mean, that's why he was like instant yes, because it's like he doubled his money in a few years, basically, he looks at. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to sell it for like 100K.
Yeah.
Whatever. All good.
Part of the business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the practice
in
for
my
me
head,
too.
I'm like, I could have went lower.
Yeah.
So one of those things, if they're not like screw you and giving you a little back and forth, then you probably didn't go low enough.
Yeah.
So do that. So yeah, I think let's try calling the other one
Cool.
tomorrow.
Awesome.
What other kind of leads you got? Anything else coming up?
No, I got 2 mailers that are hitting. So I do mailers by like the 600 to 700. I don't do these big ones because I try to concentrate on what my strategy is going to be because, I've only done 12 mailers, whatever the number is. So I actually this is talking about these sales conversations reinvigorates me to revisit the 2 that I had almost at the finish line. That are very open to talking to me. It's just I need more techniques, and that's what I'm building from today and from tomorrow and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to bring them on the sales calls, like bring them. We call them.
Yeah.
That's the best part about doing these sales calls is that's exactly what they're for. Call old leads, whatever you want. If you want to revitalize something, let's hop on. Let's see if we can get something sold.
Yeah, and I can also record one because some of these I don't even think about. Like I'm just in the moment talking to them. But I can even record one if we need or whatever, just to review and talk about.
Yeah. So sometimes I will say like sometimes it gets a little like too much. Okay. I don't mind if you send a recorded call. I just like the highlights. Like give me the highlights.
Yeah, break it down. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I've had people give me calls that are like 30 minutes long. I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like
you don't got time for that.
Boring. Yeah. I got to critique it as I go. I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple minutes or something like that's fine. Or just give me like the highlights and the lowlights.
Yeah, spark notes.
We'll go through it. And then, we could call them or whatever you want to do.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
Dude, thanks. This was very helpful.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. This is awesome. I'm glad you last minute decided to hop in.
Yeah, man.
So let me know. I'll definitely see you tomorrow night. We'll do the other call first thing, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
Cool, man.
Cool. Peace.
Awesome, bro. Thanks, man. Later. Cool. Thanks, guys. We will see y'all later.